Okay guys, now we have section 4. This is the last section, questions 31 to 40. Now we are going to do it question by question, one by one. Question number 31. The purpose of the data collection was. Now in the audio, they will tell us the purpose of data collection and 3 options are given. By the way, multiple choice question, you can expect it in any section of Ielts. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 4, it is very unusual. But a couple of months ago, some students had multiple choice in part 4. Otherwise, in part 4, mostly you have one word only. Mostly, fill in the blanks. But you never know. If there is the old test, you will get this. Okay? So, anyways. The purpose of data collection was, option A, test people's reaction. Underline test people's reaction. Option B, collect detailed information. So just underline collect detailed information. And they are talking about buildings. Buildings is understood. Okay? See that in all 3 options they are talking about buildings. And option C, assess the beauty of different public buildings. Assess the beauty. So option A, test people's reaction. Option B, collect detailed information. And option C, assess the beauty. And they are talking about buildings in all 3 options. Now I play the audio. Order can be any. Just see what was the purpose. For purpose, they can use the word aim. They can use the word main aim was, the main purpose was, and all that. So let's take a start with question number 31.
Section 4. You will hear a talk on the effect of architecture on people's mood. My group has been doing a project on the importance of architecture in people's lives and whether it has any impact on the lives of people in general. The main part I have played is in the collection of data to find out what effect, if any, various buildings have on people's mood, i.e. whether ugly buildings make people unhappy and whether beautiful buildings do the opposite.
So, people's mood. Mood is reaction. Test people's reaction. For reaction, they use the word mood and then they further define the mood happy, unhappy. Please listen again.
Section 4. You will hear a talk on the effect of architecture on people's mood. My group has been doing a project on the importance of architecture in people's lives and whether it has any impact on the lives of people in general. The main part I have played is in the collection of data to find out what effect, if any, various buildings have on people's mood.
Okay,
i.e.
what effect
whether
buildings have on people's mood and all that. Okay, question number 32. Initial plan to use a questionnaire was abandoned. Abandoned means give up. They left the plan. First, they wanted to have a questionnaire. As you know, sometimes they give you survey questions, 10, 20 questions. So, initial plan to use a questionnaire was abandoned because, means reason why they gave up the idea of giving a questionnaire to the people. A, it would take too much time to produce. Just underline too much time to produce. Too much time to produce. Option B, questions were too difficult. Just underline questions too difficult. Questions to, if the options are long, just focus 3 type of words: nouns, verbs, adjectives. Option C, it would take too long for people to complete. Take too long to complete. Take too long to complete means it will take a lot of time to complete that. Now, why did they give up the idea of using a questionnaire? Out of 3 reasons, there is one reason. Please listen carefully.
We had originally thought of starting measuring people's reactions by using a questionnaire with about 40 questions, which we were going to hand out to people, including students at the university. But we were worried that doing the questionnaire would be too time-consuming for people to fill in. So we gave up the idea.
Too time-consuming for the people. Now just focus the language they use in the audio and the language we have here. It would take too long for people to complete. Too long to complete, for that they use time-consuming. I play this one again.
We had originally thought of starting measuring people's reactions by using a questionnaire with about 40 questions, which we were going to hand out to people, including students at the university. But we were worried that doing the questionnaire would be too time-consuming for people to fill in. So we gave up the idea.
So we gave up the idea. And for abandoned, they use the word gave up. Right? Give up or gave up. Okay, let's go on. Question number 33. People indicated their reactions on a 1 to 5 scale. Now, you know 1 to 5 scale, you say on the rate of 1 to 5, what do you give to the service, quality, this and that and all that. So, they say here, people indicated their reactions on a scale of 1 to 5. A. Giving rise to some interesting answers. Now, giving rise and interesting answers. Option B, ensuring information was easier to collect. Ensuring information easier to collect. Just underline that. Basically, why did they use 1 to 5 scale? They're just telling us about that. And option C, making it quicker to choose the top 3 images. So, making quicker, choose top 3 images. Okay. Now, people indicated their reactions on a scale 1 to 5 and why that was. Please listen and answer.
I then asked several of the postgraduate students for advice. One of them came up with the simple idea of showing people images of various buildings from different eras and styles, instead of giving out the questionnaire, and asking them to indicate how they felt on a scale of 1 to 5 about the images, where 1 was unhappy and 5 was very happy. People would also be given the option of not saying what they felt. Using the scale meant that it would be much simpler to record people's reaction.
Using this scale means it was much simpler to record people's reaction. Simpler means easier. And option is B. I play this again. Listen to it from the beginning.
I then asked several of the postgraduate students for advice. One of them came up with the simple idea of showing people images of various buildings from different eras and styles, instead of giving out the questionnaire, and asking them to indicate how they felt on a scale of 1 to 5 about the images, where 1 was unhappy and 5 was very happy. People would also be given the option of not saying what they felt. Using the scale meant that it would be much simpler to record people's reactions.
Okay? Using the scale meant it was much easier to record people's reaction. That means ensuring that the information was easier to collect. Okay, question number 34. To make sure people could see the detail in the images better, what did they do? Images like paintings or images. So to make sure people could see the detail in the images better, option A, only daylight images were used. Now just underline only daylight images. Only daylight images. You understand daylight images? Pyari si painting, Suraj nikla hua and all that, daylight images. Option B, black and white images. Option A, daylight images. Option B, black and white images. Option C, color images. Images were produced in color means colored images. Now let's see whether they were daylight, black and white or colored. And why did they do that? To make sure people could see the detail. Yes, let's see.
I decided to follow this advice, and so the first stage was to collect a large number of images. I used Google to print off color images of views of houses and apartment blocks where people live, and different types of buildings where they work. I started with about 30 or 40, and then reduced them to 10 images. Media resources in the Amory building at the Judd Street branch of the university helped me produce the final images. I had them blown up to A4 size, and we used colour rather than black and white to make the detail on the images clearer.
We used color rather than black and white. Means not black and white, color. Okay, C is the right answer. Well done. Question number 35. What was done to preserve the images when being used? You know, images, what was done to preserve them? Like sometimes in order to preserve your documents, you put them in the plastic sheet or you do the tilak and all that, right? So what was done to preserve the images? Option A, they were covered in plastic with a special machine. Covered in plastic. That's it. Special machine, we call it lamination, something like that. Covered in plastic. Option B, people were asked to wear gloves. So people wear gloves. Right? उनका images देखने तो gloves पहन के देखें. People were asked to wear gloves. And C, images were handled only by the researcher. Images handled by researcher. Can you see that? Images handled by researcher. You need to cut it short. Now, let's see what did they do to preserve the images. Preserve means protect. Okay, option A is covered in plastic. Option B is using the gloves, and option C is researchers handled them. Yes.
We made 5 sets of images, and for protection when handling, we pasted the images onto hard card. Then, using a machine to wrap them with plastic, we laminated the cards.
A, we laminated the card. They didn't use gloves, they didn't use anything else. We laminated the card, that is option A. 36. Among the people who formed part of the sample were. Now, who were the audience? People, right? People who were the part of the sample. For example, housewives, teenagers, they are called people who formed part of a sample. Option A, tourists from various places. Tourists. For tourists, they can use the word visitors from different areas. Option B, office workers during lunch break. Office workers or employees during their lunch break. And option C, commuters. Means जो survey किया गया किन लोगों पे किया गया. That's what they are asking here. Among the people who formed part of the sample were tourists, office workers, and commuters. Commuters are the daily travelers. Like when you guys come from your home to management house and go back to your home, you commute. And when you go to Murree or Karachi, you travel. Because you don't do it every day. Yeah, unless driver na manje koi. Okay. So, now let's see. Question number 36, please.
5 of us targeted different age groups. We went to a local school where we obtained permission to ask a group of teenagers between 11 and 18. We also asked a sample of the general public, including tourists from all over the world, as they exited the Tate Modern in London, what they thought. We aimed to ask people from different age groups, namely 20 to 40 and 50 and over.
So, it is option A, tourists from various places, because other options are not mentioned here. I play this one again. Listen.
5 of us targeted different age groups. We went to a local school where we obtained permission to ask a group of teenagers.
Okay, we went to a local school and asked teenagers. Do you find teenagers here? No.
Between 11 and 18. We also asked a sample of the general public, including tourists from all over the world.
General public, including tourists from all over the world. From all over the world, they use the word various places. And tourists. So A is the right answer.
They exited the Tate Modern in London, what they thought.
Okay. Question number 37. What was the reason for appointing a leader for the group? They appointed a leader. Why? Option A, comply with the instructions. Comply with the instructions means to follow the instructions. So just underline comply with instructions. Option B, help hold the team together. So help team together. Team together means team ko iktha rakhna. And option C, allocate tasks to various members. Allocate tasks, various members. So what was the purpose of group leader? That's what we got to find.
What our group learnt most from the project was first of all the value of teamwork. And secondly, we found that we had to appoint a leader to stop us pulling in different directions and falling apart. So this turned out to be an invaluable lesson for all of us.
Pulling them in different directions and falling apart. No, it is option B, to help hold the team together. I'm playing it again, don't worry.
What our group learnt most from the project was first of all the value of teamwork. And secondly, we found that we had to appoint a leader to stop us pulling in different directions and
to stop us pulling in different directions and
falling apart.
Falling apart. So to help hold the team together. Hold the team together means stop us pulling apart, stop us going in different directions. B is the right answer. Okay guys, questions 38 to 40. Which findings match the age group of the image testing? So we've got age groups A, B, C, D. This is called matching. And questions are age groups and findings are A, B, C, D. So you can see question number 38, 39, 40, they are age groups. At this point, you don't need to read the questions. You only read options. Option A, varied reaction. Varied reaction means mixed reaction. Okay? Different people said different things. So that is called varied reaction. Option B, mainly scored 1. They gave 1 score only. 1 number, 1 score only. Mostly scored 3. Mainly scored 1. That is option B, mostly scored 3. For that they can use majority of them gave 3, right? And option D, mainly scored 5. So basically it is scored 1, scored 3, scored 5 and varied reaction. Mostly and mainly over here they are same. It's only to confuse you. Mostly and mainly, this is the same thing here. But focus on 1, 3, 5 and varied reaction. Okay? Let's see. Questions 38 to 40, 11 to 18 years, 20 to 40 years and 50 and above.
As to the findings, for us they proved intriguing. In the end, the sample consisted of 311 respondents. I thought initially that people wouldn't be interested in taking part. With the youngest age group, their reaction was very mixed. It was clear that the youngest group had no pattern of preference at all, as they frequently gave no reaction to the pictures. For the 20 to 40 age group, we found that they tended to score more in the middle range, around 3. We found that out of the 3 groups, the most likely to be favourably affected by the images, that is, they were more likely to score the images as 5, were those aged 50 and above. And nobody in this age group failed to say what their reaction was, which was unique for the 3 groups. In total, I have to say that about 71 people indicated that they had no reaction at all to an image. Our general conclusion is that we need to find out more about why people react as they do.
Okay, questions 38. A, well done. 39. C. And 40. D. I'm playing it again and then we finish.
As to the findings, for us they proved intriguing. In the end, the sample consisted of 311 respondents. I thought initially that people wouldn't be interested in taking part. With the youngest age group, their reaction was very mixed. It was clear that the youngest group had no pattern of preference at all, as they frequently gave no reaction to the pictures.
As they frequently gave no reaction to the pictures, okay? And
for the 20 to 40 age group, we found that they tended to score more in the middle range, around 3. We found that out of the 3 groups, the most likely to be favourably affected by the images, that is, they were more likely to score the images as 5, were those aged 50 and above.
5, those aged 50 and above. Okay, so listen now, what you got to do next. You've been through this whole thing. After this, it's a good idea to take at least 2 to 3 listening tests, 1 tonight and 2 tests tomorrow. Because you know, these things are fresh, you understand. The way I explained, I elaborated the questions, you have to find a way to read and understand the questions like that. Otherwise, if you read the questions blindly, answers will come and go and you will not find the answers. And then you will complain, when I do IELTS listening with you, I find the answers. When I do alone, I don't find the answers. Because when you do alone, you don't focus the things which I tell you. Okay, so you need to cover this distance, and for that try to take at least a couple of tests every day. Listening tests, if you are looking for 8 or above, and if you need 6 band, then relax, you can take 1 test in a week or 2 tests in a week. But if your level of English is good, if you are having, for example, you take 1 test and you get 30 correct answers and you need 7 band, this is good. You take 1 test and you get 10 correct answers and your target is 6.5 band, you will have to work very, very hard with it. Okay? All right. Yes, thank you.